All right, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. God bless you all. Thank and praise our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for waking us up for another day. Yes. It is Wednesday. It is wonderful Wednesdays here. And we might want to start time stamping everything. So it is 7:27 in the morning, Wednesday, January the 21st. We need to start time stamping because it's going to come very, very real apparent why that is. Okay? So that needs to be what needs to happen. Not for me, not just for me, but for you and your children and your loved ones. Okay? All right. What we do here, you need to do out there. It's not going to be all I'm okay, and then forget about everybody else. If everybody thought like that, then you would get exactly what you got now. If everybody thought like, I'm okay, and F everybody else, the whole world would be destroyed. And since it's on its way to that point, because that's the way everybody else is thinking, the majority of people, then something's got to change, right? So it's not, I'm okay and forget about everybody else. No, it's make sure that I'm okay, and then make sure the next person is okay. Okay? That's how it is. And that's how it is from now on. You understand? Now, we are... Right. There's no sin greater than the blood of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Nothing. Ever. Nothing. Right? So that's what it is. Right. You see what I mean? Somebody who is convicted and somebody who knows exactly what's going on right there. You can't fight him. You can't do nothing with him. Okay? You can't do nothing with that man because he already knows what's going on and he's convicted. Right? He is a man of conviction because he's a man of truth, and he knows the truth, and he's been touched. And anytime you've been touched by God, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, you know that there's no going back. Right? This is what it is. When you get called to do a job, when Lord God calls you to put it on, you go. Right? You go because you know it's your time. Right? It's almost like dying. When Grim Reaper come for you, you know it's coming for you and nobody else. So you know it's your time. It's your time to go. It's also like that when God calls you to do something. You know it's your time to do something. You know it's your time to go. and you don't question it? Because you can't. Yeah, you can question it, but it's no point to it. So say you do question it, and say you do get your answers. Then you got your answers. That still doesn't stop the process of what's going to happen. The only thing you're going to have is knowledge of the process that's happening. What do you want to know? How to stop it? Well, say you found out how to stop it. What's it going to cost? See? See how it keeps going? See how you think you get what you want, but you really don't? Yeah, you get what you want, but it's also stuff that comes along with that. You understand? Because I told you, at every level, there you get challenged and there's more. Right? So we got people, we as individuals have our shortcomings, right? That we have to battle ourselves. Pride. And oh, by the way, we're doing our morning stretching out here. 7:33, we're doing our morning stretching. Pride. As men, pride, stubbornness, and God bless, whoever goes through this too, depression, the sense of loneliness, the untrustworthiness, the untrustworthiness, we all go through it, man. We all go through it, bro. We go through these levels and these phases and these stages of life. They're just phases, right? But inside of the phases, it's always real. Because remember, time is subjective and it puts it in perspective. But, when you're going through something, time is irrelevant. Right? Because you realize it's endless. Time is a confinement to itself. So when you're in depression state, it feels like forever because it is forever. Because the moment that you're going through is forever because it doesn't end. So that's a forever. Right? So you're praying in that moment to God, please make it stop. What do I have to do? I trust in you, what do I have to do? You get lost in these certain days and stuff like that. You get lost, where you lose track of time, but it's all like relative and subjective to you because it's for you. Remember, everybody has their time when it's their time to go, right? So like I said, it's all subjected to you to when you're going through it. But you're praying and sometimes you're losing track of time and stuff. But you never lose faith, right? Because even in your darkest moment, even in your darkest time, God is going to send somebody to reach out to you. Right? It always happens. It always happens. Or he's going to reach out himself because remember, he's never gone. God is never gone. Okay? God will never leave you. You're never alone. Right? You're never alone. You may feel like you're alone, but you're never alone. Okay? God is always there. There's always a presence there. So God is always there. Right? And you know that because if you ever had kids, you want to be with them no matter what all the time. And the moment that you leave your kid, you feel empty. you feel like, oh, I have to be with them. Even though that they're somewhere else, I have to be with them. I have to let them know that I care. I have to let them know that I'm thinking about them at all times. Don't you do that? You got the kid. They got the phone. You say, there's my number. Hey, call me whenever. And they say, yeah, I'm going to call you dad. Or yeah, I'm going to call you mom. And then you wind up calling them like 10 times before they even call you. Just so you can let them know that you're there. That's how God is. Right? That's how God is. Because it's the consciousness and it's the conviction in the soul to let you know that He's always there. So you can never say that God isn't there. You understand? You just might think He don't show up when you want Him to. Like He don't show up in the physical form, like you could actually see Him. Why would God have to do that? Now, He already did. You saw how He treated him. Right? So whatever answers and whatever questions you got, you'll get your answers when you stand in front of God, when it's time. But by that time, it won't even matter. You understand? The greatest mysteries that you ever thought in your own mind, by the time you get in front of God to ask that, it won't matter. Because you'll know. Because you'll know that that's insignificant to your own soul and your own mentality and what your mission was on this earth to do. You understand? Do you understand? This is what it is now. Right? So people can play all they want to, but we know that it's not a game. Right? We know that it's not a game. I'm always here to help you. It might seem like you're getting attacked and you're getting cut off, but remember, and you gotta realize, and you'll realize it a little bit later, that it's all to help you. Now, before it was a little bit the wrong way, but I had to learn that. I had to learn the hard way. You don't want to learn the hard way. You want to know what the hard way is? You want to know what learning the hard way is? When you hear that, you might think, well, you might just had a little setback, and maybe you broke a bone or something, which hurts. Breaking bones hurts physically. But I'm talking about spiritually. Learning the hard way spiritually on the inside. You don't want to learn the hard way. You understand? Did you Sub-Zero that yet? Did you Scorpion get over here that yet? They say you can learn the easy way, which some people do, and then you can learn the hard way, which a lot of us have to learn the hard way. You don't want to learn the hard way, because when you learn the hard way, you realize what you just learned, you can't undo and you can't unlearn. And the people that you hurt and the people that you lose, learning the hard way, see, you got to live with that forever. You see what you see? Did you Shang Tsung that yet? This is what I mean. You don't want to know the real. So when people tell you, hey, This is what it is. Remember, they're trying to spare you the full medicine, because the full 100% of the medicine will make you throw up. So you can't get you can't get the whole truth. You can get just a little bit of the story, so then that way you can infer with your own perception and your own experience to relate to that and realize that, yeah, that is true. So if that part is true, imagine what he's not telling you. You understand? So when we talk about these things, it's all to help each other. When we tell each other our stories, to let each other know that what we've been through, you don't have to go through either. And we tell each other stories that we can relate to one another, right? To let each other know that we are just as human as everybody else. You know, we feel pain like everybody else, and we experience every type of emotion like everybody else, and nobody's a robot out here. You understand? That's why women love hard men, because they know it's a shell. Right? They know that beneath all of that, there's a big old softy, and they want to get to the big old softy. That's what women want to get to with men. Women want to get to the big old softy. Why? Because the big old softy is going to hug them and cover them, and then that hard shell is going to protect them from the world. But this is where it goes wrong. Because, see, when women get the big old softy, that's where the vulnerable part of the man is. And if the women and the man is not grounded in God and striving for the right things, then they will inevitably turn on each other. Because they will inevitably not trust each other. Because they're not trusting in God first. They're trusting in themselves first, in their instincts first. And then they act accordingly and try to take matters in their own hands, and trying to get the truth, or trying to get to a certain place. And then they don't get the desired results, so they act out on each other. And then they start blaming each other. Ignoring, acting out of spite, jealousy, envy, rage, untrustworthiness. It all comes back down to not trusting in God. Now, that's not to say that people that trust in God and Christian families and, they don't have problems. The thing is, we all have problems. That's human nature. But there's some problems that could be avoided. You understand? There's some problems that could be avoided that's unnecessary, right? So those are the things that you trust in God with, your own human emotions, your own problems. Hey, God, I have the problem with my pride. Or, God, Lord Jesus, please, I have the problem with my temper, my emotions. Can you please hold that in check? You have to come to God with these things. You have to. You can't go to a psychologist for that. Think a psychologist. Because what if you keep going to the psychologist and it doesn't work? And you feel that it doesn't work because you keep getting madder and madder and madder and madder. You understand? Did you show Con that yet? And they can't help you. Then you're going to look at the psychologist like he failed and you're a failure. No. God is not a failure. Because you have to trust and you have to believe. That's where the hard part for some people come in. Now, there are, for as many people that don't believe, as hard as you don't believe, as hard as you don't, you know, you're hard, you're real hard in not believing. Well, there's somebody else, there's other people that believe just as hard. In fact, even harder. You see? And they believe hard. And no matter what you do, you can't get them to stop believing. In fact, the more you try to get them to not believe, they'll believe even harder. So the more you push, the more they pull. Right? This is how these things work. Also, vice versa. Right? Because life is a tug of war. It's a tug of war on the inside, projected outward. Right? Now remember, just because there's a trillion people on Earth plus you doesn't change nothing. If it was just you on this earth, it'd still be the same. You'd still be going through the same thing internally. Know why? Because it's internal. So it wouldn't matter if it was one person on the globe, 2 people, or 2 billion, or 2 gazillion. It'd still be the same for you. Which means you can have a whole planet to yourself. You want a whole planet to yourself? You can have a whole planet to yourself. Have a whole planet to yourself. Let me ask you a question. Would that change anything that's going on in the inside? Don't answer that. You Liu Kang kick that? Did you bicycle kick that yet? This is all designed to get you to ask questions of yourself. You understand? That's what it's designed to do. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the morning workout and the morning stretching with Big Bet Bob and my little Leaf. Jet Li, swing on the swings with me, Daddy Ooh-wee. Jet Ski, Tanahashi. Yep. All right. Now, we are feeling in good spirits today. Each day is a battle. And each day is a new day to prove yourself to God. Because God made you and God knows what you're capable of. So you need to stand up. After you get finished praying, get on your knees, get and pray. And then stand up and show yourself and show God that, yeah, this is how you made me. And I'm going to show the world exactly how you made me and how strong I am. And we're going to do this thing together. It feels good. You understand? Now, It is a frozen tundra out because that's January for you. And if January's any indicator, then February is going to be just about the same. And since I'm the black Mr. Rogers that likes to change shoes, like Mr. Rogers likes to change clothes, this is what you get. I would suggest I stress Jess. R.I.P. to my brother, TB. God bless. And R.I.P. to everybody else. As a matter of fact, let's take a moment of silence to respect the fallen. God bless. All right. Yeah, we're gonna start doing that every day. Right. He had a way of saying words, but you could get what he said. So I suggest, but I stress Jess. Merge the words. I stress Jess that everybody do some detoxifications. We just tried on the let's show you. They have different ones. These are the deep cleansing foot pads, deep cleaning foot pads. Holly Care. The other ones we got was called Bando. Now, Bando is easy to recognize and is easy to say because it's a whole brand, Bando. This is maybe an off-brand or maybe their own brand, but they run just the same. With the Bandos, they already come with the sticky adhesive part to stick to your feet. With this one, the pads come separately. So the detoxification pads come in a square, and then the sticky part comes separately. So you got to take the pad off the plastic, and then take the sticky part, the paper off of that, which reveals the sticky under, and then you stick the pad in the middle, and then you stick it onto your feet. It's the same thing, right? But it did work. So it went in white last night and came out black early this morning. That's how you know it worked. And that's exactly what you want. You want to get all that gunk out of you, right? Invite Jen Gray to the head. Jen, I call her Jean Gray. Jean Gray is an interesting gal. She's a good gal, but she's real interesting. Right? Now, I got this thing where, I love to ask people what they want and all of that because, see, remember, it doesn't work like that. Remember, because my aunt told me, everybody's not going to be on the same level because everybody has their own turn and their own time, how things are done and how things get did. Okay? So, with that being said, we're going to let people keep being interested because, without you being you, it's no fun. So we got to let people be themselves. Okay? That's what makes you you. Right? We gotta allow. We gotta allow people to be themselves. That's the only way things work. Okay. So you can be yourself. It's okay, right? Right. You can be good. You'll be all right. Right. We'll all be okay. We got to pray for people, though. It's a fact that we all will be all right, but then it's another fact that in order for us to be all right, we got to pray for each other and make sure, okay? It's not just going to magically happen, right? This thing, life doesn't just, things in life doesn't magically happen, so we all got to work together. And that's the only way that that happens, right? So it's gonna happen. You're gonna see somebody in need today. You're gonna see people in need, and when you see them in need, go ahead, drop a prayer for them. Drop a quick prayer, and keep it moving. Okay, it doesn't hurt to drop a quick little prayer. God bless you. And the family. That's what you got to do here. That's what we do, right? You ain't got to go outside yourself. You ain't got to do all nothing extra. I would surmise that people who do go outside of themselves do extra. That's what they're called to do. That's what they're compelled to do. You allow them to do that, right? And if that encourages you, if that inspires you to go do a little bit of extra, then yeah. But as long as we're doing it all in good spirits and good faith and good intent, it should be good. Okay? Right? So this is what you want to do, and this is how you want to do things, because it's the only way for things to happen. Okay? Now, we got to remember people, mental stability isn't all the way there at 100%. None of us are. We are at high levels. Everybody is at different levels. We can all be affected at different levels here. It's always a challenge at different levels. But we don't hold that against them. And you got to look out for them and be aware that they don't hurt themselves and they don't hurt you. Right? So however you gotta look out for these people, as far as calling them for help or calling help for them, you gotta get them some help, man. You gotta get them some help. Okay? You can't let people walk around just destroying themselves and destroying other people around them. Because that's what happens. Right? And the thing about that is, it's always somebody innocent that gets destroyed. Right? There's always somebody in a vulnerable spot that gets destroyed. Right? So we can't allow these things to happen. It's not good for anybody. Okay? So we have to look out for each other. Okay? That's what it's all about. Right? So we're doing that. It is cold. I hear that there is a polar vortex. I was about to say something else that probably get me stricken. But I hear that there's a polar vortex coming that's going to hit Texas or something. And Texas is known to be a hot state. Places like that. And then they're talking about maybe possibly power outages. I didn't see this on the news. I just seen this on the Instagram, on the TikTok feed. Scroll down. So like Instagram is like Big Brother, and TikTok is like little sister or something. Huh? Who's the Facebook is Father Facebook. Uncle Facebook. Facebook is your uncle, okay? Facebook is your uncle because it's so old, right? And Instagram is your big brother, or whatever, which one. What's it? Instagram is your older sister, and TikTok is your little brother. It could be switched. We're gonna have to figure that. We're gonna have to figure that family dynamic out, okay? Right? But we saw that on there. Yeah, we might have to check the actual weather to see what's going on that way, to confirm the workings out and the goings of the incoming of goings of happenings. But that needs to happen. Okay? So let's keep an eye on that weather, because it's coming in cold, and they say the cold kills the germs. Cold also does a whole lot other stuff too. So we don't want to be totally caught up in that. We don't want to be caught where we don't need to be caught at. And in the event that you are going to be out there, please bundle up. All right? You've been buying clothes all of your life for a reason. I don't want to see you outside with no clothes on complaining how cold it is. You got a TV and you multiple channels on is showing you the weather. Look at the weather. Look what kind of weather it's going to be and dress accordingly and put on some extra clothes. Okay, I'm seeing people out there with one sweater on and no gloves and one thin jacket talking about it's cold as F, it's cold as stuff, it's cold as F. Well, look what you got on, bro. Who told you to come outside in that? Who told you to come outside in a t-shirt and a windbreaker jacket, trying to go to work and know you got to stand out in front of for the bus 30, 40 minutes in negative degree temperature? Who told you to dress like that? So you come outside dressed like that and then you want to complain and want to cuss all over the place? Who told you to do that? You feel me? Who told you to do that? Stop doing that. You got a brain, use it. Throw some extra clothes on. Throw some long johns on, or throw some sweatpants on under those jeans. You like wear baggy jeans, or throw some tight sweatpants on under the baggy jeans and run it like that. At least you'll be warm. At least when you get to the job, you can take the jeans off, and when you get to the job in the bathroom, right? Throw on an extra sweater or something like that. Throw on the extra sweater, and throw the hoodie on over that, and then throw the heavy jacket, the coat on under that, bro. And don't be out here cussing, waiting for the bus and walking around and being silly in the cold. Right? We got to be careful about the energy we be spreading around here. Right? You got to be realistic, and you can't be naive about these things. You can't be naive. Okay? All right, now we got our man, we got our mind reading man over here with his girl, right? Doing things, I guess. Ugh. It's always what it looks like until it doesn't look like that no more. So it's not like that. Right. I seen a video where some people liked, okay? The video said, what's it say? She said, she said, when you was with me, you was broke, but that when you break up with me, all of a sudden you got a sleeve, new car, and new jewelry, and you got your stuff popping. What, was I holding you back? And then somebody spliced it where they had like 4 guys on a 4-way spleen saying, yeah, it was you. Yep, no doubt it was you. Wait a minute. You know I don't do division, right? You know I don't do that, right? We do division is going to be the divide so you can look at yourself, so we can self-examine, right? They said that the video is going to Trump Bear will take off. Curtis Norman. Good morning, our good friend Curtis Norman. Now, Curtis Norman, are you prepared to step in the ring with me for 12 rounds of boxing for charity, sir? Are you prepared or are you scared? I thank you for tuning in, because see, remember, Norman, what I'm doing here, standing for truth, since you stand for something else, since you stand for something that's opposed to truth, you have to come where the truth is, because you have to show that you're against it and you have to oppose it. So that's why you're here. Because if I thought like you, we'd be on the split screen together, laughing and joking, trying to spread negativity together. Was that right, Norman? Huh? We'd have no disagreements at all. We'd be friends, right? But since I stand for truth and you stand for something that opposes truth, you have to come here and you have to let yourself be known. See how that works, Norm? Now, Norman, since you're scared to step in the ring with me for charity, what do you want to say? Because it wasn't it you yesterday that said, oh, you shut up and go back to sleep? Well, I already disproved that. When you wake up, it's time to wake up. Because when you wake up, you realize, and you pray to God, you realize you have to complete your mission, what you're here to do on this earth. So you yesterday woke up with your mission to tell somebody else that was telling the truth to go back to sleep. See how you expose yourself? And now you're on the same account again the next day, the very next day, to check and see what effect did that hold. Norman, you have no effect, right? Just like in the ring would have no effect because your soul isn't there. Is that right, Norman? But God bless you anyway. You want to talk about Trump, Norman? Why don't you go to Donald Trump's TikTok and go talk to Donald Trump? Don't come here to tell me about Trump. Trump is in office because people like you and whoever voted for Trump voted him in. Because people like us already knew it doesn't matter what you do, Trump was going to get elected anyway. Because there's nothing you can do about these things, Norman. You're non-effective. Where you could be effective, Norman, is you can stand for truth. You can change the way you are. At least try. And try to stand for truth. Okay, Norman? Now, Norman always likes to drop his little word and run. What do you call that? That's what cowards do. But a coward is going to be a coward. If a coward stood in front of a lion and tried to fight, well, it wouldn't be a coward then, would it? It'd be brave. A coward is going to run. That's what a coward does. But God bless him anyway. You're all right with me, Norman, because you have no effect. I'm here to wake you up too. And if it's too late, well, then that works too. Because then people get to see what it's like to not be able to wake up because you've already made your decision. So it's a learning experience for us all. Remember, we all learn from each other. I'm still learning too. See? Is as I said, we gotta be careful here, and we gotta, yeah. So she said, and remember, I don't do division. So it said, she said, oh, you was with me and you was broke, and all of a sudden you break up with me. Now you got a sleeve, a new car, a new job, and all this stuff. What, was I holding you back or something? And then they got on and they said, yeah, it was you. No. She wasn't holding you back, sir. You as a man, you were holding yourself back. You don't get in a relationship and do bad and then blame it on the person you with. That again is a coward. That again is not taking responsibility for your actions and what you're doing. You're good at that. You understand? So whoever was co-signing that, whoever's co-signing, trying to blame it on a girl, no. She wasn't holding you back. She was doing what she does. The decision she made. What about the decision you made, bro? If you was broke while you was with her, then that was you being broke. How was she making you broke? How was she making you not have a sleeve? How was she making you not have a car? Somebody making a grown man? How do you sound? And how do you sound co-signing for that, bro? You see what I mean with this bull? You Roger that? You see what I mean with this bull? Liking this? See what I got a problem with? You Roger that? How is a woman making a grown man broke? How is a woman making a grown man not have no car? Right? If you aren't broke, then the women you're supposed to be with shouldn't be broke either. You should be making sure she's not broke by advising her to get a job and being effective where she could be effective at. If you have a car and your woman doesn't, then you should be advising her, giving her steps and giving her tips, websites, and resources to get a car immediately, to get on your level. If you have a job or whatever, all this stuff, you should be advising your woman to get the same thing, right? To get on your same level. That's what you do. No woman makes another man broke. No woman makes another man not have a car. It's not the woman's fault, bro. It's yours. For not taking accountability and not being a man. Who told these dudes to start blaming it on women? We're going to stop that. Right now. Right? That's how it is. Now, people are going to learn what it is to be real and not make excuses for themselves and other people. We don't do that, and we don't co-sign that, no matter who it is, for no reason. No reason at all. Okay? We're not doing that for nobody. Welcome to the morning workout with Big Bad Bob, a little Lise. It is 8:17. I told you we're going to start time stamping everything from now on because people like to think it's a game. You understand? It is 8:17, January the 21st. It is January 21st, 8:18 a.m. in the morning. Here working out with did it to you again, Big Bad Bob. And we gotta fill up on our protein shake. Protein, alright? We're doing things. Remember, anytime logic is tested, it always tightens up. No holes. I'm not scared. All right, guys. (8:30 a.m.) and we have refilled up on our protein shake. I told you guys, don't worry, it'll be okay. Now, what we have here is a little bit of goings on of the goings, okay? What people need to understand is no matter what you do, no matter what you say, you cannot do anything with warriors of God. Okay? This war between good and evil has existed before any of us were even thought of. You understand? Let me ask you something. Were you alive and thought of when the war in heaven happened? Were you alive and thought of when the war in heaven happened? You could type in the comments. Were you there? Were you there or weren't you? And if you weren't, how many years and centuries after were you thought of? Let me simplify it. Were you there at the beginning of time when the war between good and evil was happening? No. You weren't physically there. No. So you realize that this war between good and evil has been going on way before any of us has been thought of. So by the time that we existed, it was a long time after that. Right? We came in probably a little bit longer later than that. Right? Now, here's the thing. Since we came in later and it was already established, we are here to choose which side we want to be on. Real simple. Either we want to be on the good side or the evil side. Well, what does the good side do? Well, the good side helps people when they're down. Looks out for people when they're hurt. I mean, really, really care. With no wanting anything back or with no ulterior motive or without wanting to manipulate people. They don't want to hurt. They don't want to see people cry. They don't get any enjoyment out of that. What does the bad side want? Well, the bad side wants to hurt people. The bad side wants to see people's lives destroyed. Bad side wants to lie. Bad side wants to completely destroy everything, the whole earth, and God himself. And laugh and piss on you and doesn't give a crap and crap on you the whole time and laugh about it. That's what the bad side wants. So I'm going to ask you a real simple question. What side are you on? Real simple. You on the good side? Type it in the comments. You on the good side? It's 8:35 a.m. January the 21st. And the question is, Are you on the good side that was to help people and help innocents and look out for the innocent? Or do you want to hurt people and hurt innocents and destroy the world? Which side are you on? Good or bad? Answer the question. I mean, honestly, forever. Which side you want to be on forever? I'm waiting. Yeah, this is what this is about. It's about us choosing what side we want to be on. Because here's the deal. Remember the war that went on in heaven? Well, it never ended. And it's going to keep going until God puts it into it. Right? And oh yeah. It's going to come down to us physically being in the war, physically seeing exactly whose side we're on and exactly who's on the other side and who we have to fight. You understand? Oh, and yeah. The thing about that war, it's happening now. In real time. You understand? Did you put your Raiden hat onto that yet? Did you Shang Tsung that yet? That's what's happening now. And you don't have to believe me or you don't have to do anything. All you gotta do is just look around. And you can feel it. You can feel it. Now, if I told you what you're feeling, that's not what you're feeling. If I told you that it's something else completely, you would completely slap me in the face. You would be like, that's not true. You can't tell me what I'm feeling. I feel something is going on here. So since you do feel something that is going on here, and this is where I get to tell you, yeah, you're absolutely right. Something is going on here. It's going on because it's time for it. I didn't say it's time for it. God did. God did. The grand designer of this whole thing said it's time for people who stand on one side to fight, and for people who stand on the other side to stop pretending that they're good and reveal themselves and go fight too. That's what God in the whole design said. And that's the truth. You know why? Because when you stand for truth, all of a sudden, you got people coming out of nowhere that want to get rid of you, that want to eliminate you, that oppose you for all of a sudden, just that very reason. Now, when you were broke and you were running around doing garbage, smoking and drinking, and on drugs, everything was all good. You weren't getting no feedback, none at all. As a matter of fact, you could ask for a beer and they'd give it to you for free. You could go to a party anytime you wanted to. People would come pick you up, parties and stuff like that. You'd go. Go, mingles and all of that. You had no problem. You had all the friends in the world then. You get to jump on tables. You get to entertain crowds of people that you never even knew. They really liked you. And they didn't even know you. But then you changed. Then on the inside, something said, you know what? I don't want to do that no more. I had enough. Don't you see what's going on over here? Look at that person just completely passed out and is done and can't stand up for himself. Can't stand up for himself. Look at that girl over there crying. What happened to her? You really want to be a part of it? You want to really be a part of this? Look at these guys over here laughing. Look at everybody just laughing. You really want to keep being a part of that? And something inside of you said, no, I don't. And it said, well, you got to stop and you got to stand up for yourself. You got to get cleaned up and you got to change. And that means no more of this garbage. So you said, oh, I could do that. I think I could do that. And it said, yeah. And then you change and you stop and now you stand up for something good. And now all of a sudden, you don't have no friends. And now all of a sudden, people want to throw you in jail. And now all of a sudden, you got people calling you crazy. See how that works? Do I have that right? Does Big Bad Bob and Little Lily have that right? Is that how it goes? Is that how it is now? And this is where I get to tell you, yeah, this is exactly how it is. Because this is exactly how it's been forever. It's not going to change. You win one battle, the next battle is right there to let you know, yeah, it's time to keep fighting. Now, Arab Khan wants to be invited up here. You know, you guys, I'm going to decline you because this is the same guys that take pleasure in kids crying. See? They take pleasure in that. Right? If he wants to come up and co-host with me, he needs to sit down. I'm not co-hosting with children. You're going to sit down and you're going to learn. I'm teaching right now. You need to stand up for something. You need to stand for truth. It's your decision. You either stand for truth or you stand for lies. Okay, young man, go sit down and learn. We have a job to do. We have to help and look out for the innocents and save our souls and save the souls of people who need it, who are in depressions, who are crying out for someone to care. You understand? That's what we're here to do. And the whole time we're doing that, people are trying to lie and get people locked up and eliminated. But it says, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Now, why is that? Because when you stand for truth and you stand for God, you have a mission to do. And it won't stop until the mission is done. Because you're doing the right thing. Right? That's how it is. I'm not worried about nobody on this earth at all. You understand? That's how it is. Now, there's no need to worry because I'm not worried. Right? I'm not affected at all. Right? Now, as I said, there's no more of this division crap. It's garbage. Right? We don't do it because there's no need for it. Right? What we need to concern ourselves with is doing the right thing while we're still alive. Okay. Now, I'm not sure. I think last night, our good friend and our good guy, Devin Booker Myers, won. All right. But let's get the wrestling guy. We're going to subscribe to him. Let's go to more of his stuff because we are working out, and we could work out to our highlights, but we want to listen to some stuff. 10 times the WWE Royal Rumble horribly went wrong. Yeah. I want to see more of that. 10 times the Andre Giant snapped. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. No, not that. Let's do videos. Wrestling guy. All right. Sierra. Come on, Sierra. You know. Gosh. These people, man. These people aren't people. And it kills me that they're not people. They're really just not people. Right? The Ultimate Warrior fan encounter that became his darkest moment. Oh, no. Don't do that, Warrior. R.I.P. the Warrior. That spook WWE. What? Wrestling Wild is real life, right? No. What happened here? Okay. All right, y'all. So, yeah, we talk about things because that's what it is. But, I mean, that's what it is, man. Nobody's worried about nothing, man. Nobody's worried about nothing.
$1 million in coverage. LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back.
My husband used to ejaculate prematurely until this. My hubby is ejaculating so fast, and when he gets so anxious about it, it starts...
Ric Flair once revealed that Hulk Hogan refused to wrestle one man because he thought he was too dangerous. Not Andre the Giant, not Vader. That man was Rick Rude. So why did Hogan refuse to wrestle the Ravishing One? Well, according to Flair, it's because Rude allegedly knocked out the Ultimate Warrior in a real backstage fight. But here's the twist. For years, fans swore the backstage fight that Flair was talking about never happened. There was no record of it, no evidence, no documentation. But after digging through the archives, I've uncovered something that's been missed until now.
All right, guys, we're sitting here working out and stretching and stuff.
Before we hear what Flair had to say, let's unravel the clues that make this story so explosive. Because once you see how the pieces fit together,
I'll let that ambiance play, y'all.
Hulk Hogan and Rick Rude the same way again. This is the strange but true story of how one punch may have changed wrestling history forever. So let's begin by looking at exactly what Ric Flair had to say. The Nature Boy once told a story of a backstage altercation where the Ultimate Warrior insulted Rick Rude. Rude stood up, crossed the room, and with one punch is alleged to have dropped the Warrior cold. According to the Nature Boy, it was this incident that made Hulk Hogan avoid Rick Rude for his whole career.
It wouldn't work with Rick. Rude had beat up the Warriors bad in the locker room, and that just kind of sent a message, but he would not wrestle Rick. The Hulk and Rude have never worked in the ring, which is strange. I mean, he just refused to do it.
What you just heard was Ric Flair's version of events, as told to him by others. But as has been pointed out by multiple knowledgeable wrestling fans on this channel, Rude has crossed paths with Hogan before, but those matches, which you can count on one hand, largely consisted of house shows. House shows that were suddenly dropped with no explanation. And that's the mystery. In an era where virtually every major heel, Andre, DiBiase, Savage, Earthquake, got a big money feud with Hogan, Rude never did, and after 1988, their paths never crossed again in a singles match. Ric Flair even said Hogan called Rude the Tasmanian Devil.
He called Rick the Tasmanian Devil. It wouldn't work with Rick.
But while Hogan may have seen Rude as a liability, in the ring, the Ravishing One was proving he was unstoppable. As well as going around the horn with the Warrior and handing him some of the best matches of his career, Rude stole the show, even beating him for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania 5. So why was a big money feud with Hulk Hogan blocked? Well, in a moment, we'll hear what the Hulkster had to say about Rick Rude. And you're going to want to stick around for that, brother, because he does not hold back. But first of all, let's go back to this locker room altercation and piece together what really happened with the Ultimate Warrior.
I'm sure that there were days when Rude wanted to put his fist to a wall because of the lack of in-ring ability that his opponent had.
By the early 1990s, the story of Rick Rude flooring Ultimate Warrior was locker room legend. Demolition Smash, who worked with Warrior on many occasions in the 90s, recalls the incident as follows. Warrior nailed Rude a few times in the ring before Rude, quote-unquote, straightened him out in the locker room. Even Rick Rude's son has spoken about the incident.
The Warrior was backstage kind of talking smack about my father before he got to the arena. And my father came into the arena and almost ended the Warrior's career backstage.
Rude's son said it flat out. His dad nearly ended the Ultimate Warrior's career. This wasn't just locker room gossip. It was the kind of fight that had real consequences.
And Vince almost fired my father over this.
And if Vince was ready to fire Rude over it, you know how serious it must have been. But where did it happen and when? If we can pinpoint that, it could be the proof needed that this story wasn't just rumour. Here is where it gets interesting.
Rude had beat up the Warrior in Savannah.
The Nature Boy has always maintained that the backstage fight happened in Savannah, Georgia. For years, fans have doubted that fact. There was no record of any event in the late 80s in Savannah that saw Rude and Warrior on the same card. There was a challenge event in 91, but by that point, Rude had already left the organisation. Many have claimed that WWF never even ran Savannah. So with the passage of time and fading memories, the story's been written off as nothing more than an urban legend. Until now. Because I found the show. On August the 24th, 1990, the WWF definitely ran a show at the Savannah Civic Centre. And despite not appearing online in the usual places, this is something that's been confirmed by the Civic Centre themselves.
When my streaming bill hit $180 a month for channels I don't even watch, I didn't get mad. I got friendly.
When they locked me into a 2-year contract just to watch basic channels, I didn't get mad. I got friendly.
When I needed an engineering degree just to find my classic shows, I didn't get mad. I got friendly.
Join the millions who got friendly with 50+ live channels, thousands of on-demand titles, all starting at just $6.99 a month. Start your free trial today at friendlytv.com.
Nothing in my closet fit right after my body change, but then Stitch Fix came through. Here's how they got both my style and fit right. You just go on there and you take that styling quiz, and all of these items get shipped directly to your door.
Everything in this Fix fits perfectly. Super comfortable to wear. This is perfect for a date night out or to wear to a casual bar. If I'm going outside and I need to stay warm, I throw on the North Face crew sweater.
So there's no more struggling to figure out what fits. Just tell your stylist and they'll send everything to you and take care of the rest. You just keep what you want, and then you return what you don't want or like. Get your fix. Take the Stitch Fix style quiz today.
While we don't know who was on the Savannah card, we can look to the following event for some clues. The very next night, the WWF rolled into Charleston, South Carolina, just 108 miles up the road. Given this was the B-Show circuit, the personnel would have been the same as the night before. The main event for that show, Ultimate Warrior and Texas Tornado versus Mr. Perfect. and ravishing Rick Rude. So we've identified an event that appears to support Ric Flair's story, and while it might not be a smoking gun, it does put Rude and Warrior in the same place. And if there was a backstage altercation, it might explain why Hulk Hogan wanted nothing to do with Rick Rude. Next up, we'll hear from the Hulkster himself. But first, we need to understand why his words matter. Because if Hogan pulled the plug on a rising Ravishing One, that's not just politics. That's a ruthless power play. According to wrestler accounts, over the years it's been said that Hogan thought Rude was too stiff, too dangerous, or too small to draw. We may get an insight into Hogan's true thoughts from this promo in 1988.
You see that right there, brother? That's Rick Rude, man. That's Rick Rude right there. If you go back to 1987, when I slammed 565 pounds and beat Andre the Giant, that's what you look like, Rick Rude. When you look back and see how I fought King Kong Bundy tooth and nail, that's you right there, Rick Rude. Not that you're a threat, brother. Not that you're not a worthy #1 contender. But I'm used to jumping on top of mountains, man. And if by some chance, Rick Rude, you forget to wear those long, skinny pantyhose to the ring, I want to show him that this 24-inch python, the largest arm in the world, is as big as his leg.
That promo told the whole story. Instead of giving Rude the rub, Hulk Hogan cut him down to size. So the question becomes, was this just in-character bravado for the cameras? Or was there some truth to what Hogan was saying? And why wouldn't Rude be next in line for a title shot? He'd already defeated the Warrior. Let that sink in. He pinned WWF's fastest rising star on the grandest stage of them all. This was the guy who beat the man that Hogan would later pass the torch to.
I think Rick Rude taught Jim Hellwig an awful lot in the ring, night in and night out. And I would credit Rick Rude greatly for making Warrior look at least like Warrior was capable of having some athleticism.
Behind the curtain then, it was easy to see why Rude might have been a bit bitter. All the momentum, all that heat, and still the main event spotlight eluded him.
I remember Rick Rude working his butt off, trying to make the matches very, very good.
By late 1990, just 1 month after headlining SummerSlam, Rude found himself stuck in a mid-card feud with the Big Boss Man. For the Ravishing One, this was the last straw. He quit WWE and headed south to World Championship Wrestling. For more than 3 years in WCW, Rude showed he was every bit the top guy, but then disaster struck. The Warrior assaulted Rick Rude. Rude stood up, crossed the room, and with one punch is alleged to have dropped the Warrior cold. According to the Nature Boy, it was this incident that made Hulk Hogan avoid Rick Rude for his whole career.
It wouldn't work with Rick. Rude had beat up the Warriors bad in the locker room, and that just kind of sent a message, but he would not wrestle Rick.
Bro, this is the new era of Auto-Tune. You can try all of these tools free for 14 days with the Auto-Tune Unlimited subscription. It's on sale right now.
Old bones, y'all. Old bones.
Hulk and Rude have never worked in the ring, which is strange. I mean, they just refuse to do it.
What you just heard was Ric Flair's version of events, as told to him by others. But as has been pointed out by multiple knowledgeable wrestling fans on this channel, Rude has crossed paths with Hogan before.
Alright, I'll probably lose this live, but I don't care.
On one hand, largely consisted of house shows. House shows that were suddenly dropped with no explanation. And that's the mystery. In an era where virtually every major heel, Andre, DiBiase, Savage, Earthquake, got a big money feud with Hogan, Rude never did. And after 1988, their paths never crossed again in a singles match. Ric Flair even said Hogan called Rude the Tasmanian Devil.
He called Rick the Tasmanian Devil. It wouldn't work with Rick.
But while Hogan may have seen Rude as a liability, in the ring, the Ravishing One was proving he was unstoppable. As well as going around the horn with the Warrior and handing him some of the best matches of his career, Rude stole the show, even beating him for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania 5. So why was a big money feud with Hulk Hogan blocked? Well, in a moment, we'll hear what the Hulkster had to say about Rick Rude. And you're going to want to stick around for that, brother, because he does not hold back. But first of all, let's go back to this locker room altercation and piece together what really happened with the Ultimate Warrior.
I'm sure that there were days when Rude wanted to put his fist to a wall because of the lack of in-ring ability that his opponent had.
By the early 1990s, the story of Rick Rude flooring Ultimate Warrior was locker room legend. Demolition Smash, who worked with Warrior on many occasions in the 90s, recalls the incident as follows. Warrior nailed Rude a few times in the ring before Rude, quote-unquote, straightened him out in the locker room. Even Rick Rude's son has spoken about the incident.
The Warrior was backstage kind of talking smack about my father before he got to the arena. And my father came into the arena and almost ended the Warrior's career backstage.
Rude's son said it flat out. His dad nearly ended the Ultimate Warrior's career. This wasn't just locker room gossip. It was the kind of fight that had real consequences.
And Vince almost fired my father over this.
And if Vince was ready to fire Rude over it, you know how serious it must have been. But where did it happen and when? If we can pinpoint that, it could be the proof needed that this story wasn't just rumour. Here is where it gets interesting.
Rude had beat up the Warrior in Savannah.
The Nature Boy has always maintained that the backstage fight happened in Savannah, Georgia. For years, fans have doubted that fact. There was no record of any event in the late 80s in Savannah that saw Rude and Warrior on the same card. There was a challenge event in '91, but by that point, Rude had already left the organisation. Many have claimed that WWF never even ran Savannah. So with the passage of time and fading memories, the story's been written off as nothing more than an urban legend. Until now, because I found the show. On August the 24th, 1990, the WWF definitely ran a show at the Savannah Civic Centre. And despite not appearing online in the usual places, this is something that's been confirmed by the Civic Centre themselves. While we don't know who was on the Savannah card, we can look to the following event for some clues. The very next night, the WWF rolled into Charleston, South Carolina, just 108 miles up the road. Given this was the B-Show circuit, the personnel would have been the same as the night before. The main event for that show, Ultimate Warrior and Texas Tornado versus Mr. Perfect and Ravishing Rick Rude. So we've identified an event that appears to support Ric Flair's story, and while it might not be a smoking gun, it does put Rude and Warrior in the same place. And if there was a backstage altercation, it might explain why Hulk Hogan wanted nothing to do with Rick Rude. Next up, we'll hear from the Hulkster himself. But first, we need to understand why his words matter. Because if Hogan pulled the plug on a rising, ravishing one, that's not just politics. That's a ruthless power play. According to wrestler accounts, over the years it's been said that Hogan thought Rude was too stiff, too dangerous, or too small to draw. We may get an insight into Hogan's true thoughts from this promo in 1988.
You see that right there, brother? That's Rick Rude, man. That's Rick Rude right there. If you go back to 1987, when I slammed 565 pounds and beat Andre the Giant, that's what you look like, Rick Rude. When you look back and see how I fought King Kong Bundy tooth and nail, that's you right there, Rick Rude. Not that you're a threat, brother. Not that you're not a worthy #1 contender. But I'm used to jumping on top of mountains, man. And if by some chance, Rick Rude, you forget to wear those long, skinny pantyhose to the ring, I want to show him that this 24-inch python, the largest arm in the world, is as big as his leg.
That promo told the whole story. Instead of giving Rude the run, Hulk Hogan cut him down to size. So the question becomes, was this just in-character bravado for the cameras? Or was there some truth to what Hogan was saying? And why wouldn't Rude be next in line for a title shot? He'd already defeated the Warrior. Let that sink in. He pinned WWF's fastest rising star on the grandest stage of them all. This was the guy who beat the man that Hogan would later pass the torch to.
I think Rick Rude taught Jim Hellwig an awful lot in the ring, night in and night out. And I would credit Rick Rude greatly for making Warrior look at least like Warrior was capable of having some athleticism.
Behind the curtain, then, it was easy to see why Rude might have been a bit bitter. All the momentum, all that heat, and still the main event spotlight eluded him.
I remember Rick Rude working his butt off, trying to make the matches very, very good.
By late 1990, just 1 month after headlining SummerSlam, Rude found himself stuck in a mid-card feud with the Big Boss Man. For the Ravishing One, this was the last straw. He quit WWE and headed south to World Championship Wrestling. For more than 3 years in WCW, Rude showed he was every bit the top guy. But then, disaster struck. A career-ending injury in Japan that would cut him down in his prime. It's often said that time is a cruel mistress. Just months after Rude cashed in on his Lloyd's of London insurance policy, Hulk Hogan signed with WCW. For years, Rude had dreamed of a main event showdown with the Hulkster. He'd chased the spotlight. He'd fought to prove himself. And then, when Hogan finally came to his backyard where he was the star, Rude's career was already over. So when the dust finally settled, was Hulk Hogan truly afraid of the man who floored the Warrior, did one punch in a locker room, end a dream feud? Rude wanted Hogan, fans wanted it too, but the Hulkster made sure it never happened. In the years that followed, Hogan praised Rude's ability and his influence on the business. Even
What's up, KB? Good morning, bro.
He didn't get his flowers. But perhaps it's what Hulk didn't say that speaks volumes. Because sometimes the wildest stories in wrestling are the ones that don't make it to the ring.
Okay, so that's that. So let's play our guy,
pretty cool, huh? That's the
Professor Black Truth.
This little bullet
okay,
in just about any gun and works with this app and that target to help you safely train from the comfort of your home. If you don't have the money or time to shoot 500 to 1,000 rounds a week, this is going to be awesome for you.
Excited Delirium lie. That's their favorite go-to when the police kill someone.
After studying Excited Delirium, the Nobel Peace Prize winning organization Physicians for Human Rights called it scientifically meaningless and a way to justify aggressive police tactics.
Excited delirium is not a valid medical or psychiatric diagnosis and should not be used as a cause of death.
They're not alone in this opinion. In fact, leading medical organizations like the American Psychiatric Association, World Health Organization, and American Medical Association do not even recognize excited delirium as a condition.
This is what white power does when they want to blame the victim for their own death. And that's just when the thugs in blue try to use some made-up pseudo-medical sounding gibberish to cover up their murders. When it comes to the people in these hospitals, they don't even feel the need to go that far. They just say it was complications and leave it at that. After all, who would you go to determine the actual cause of death? The very racist who killed the patient in the first place. But you want to hear something else infuriating? According to the Centers for Disease Control, more than 80% of pregnancy-related deaths are preventable. The CDC's own website says over 80% of these medical killings could have been prevented. This is a government agency saying this. Now, the CDC site doesn't specifically mention black women or black people on their page at all, but the pictures of the pregnant women featured in the article are black, so you can read between the lines. And as we've seen in video after video, the problem isn't that black mothers aren't getting to the hospital in time, and it's not that they have some sort of bizarre condition that nobody could have foreseen. It's that these racists in these hospitals are deliberately and intentionally denying these black women basic health care because they know what the result will be, that they're knowingly creating a life-threatening situation for these black patients. The American College of Nurse Midwives called the death of Dr. Green Smith heartbreaking and unacceptable. But these are empty words, not just for Dr. Green Smith, but because this isn't new. Black mothers are routinely killed during and even after pregnancy. They even said it in the exact same paragraph where they mentioned that black women are at a far greater risk than any other group due to systemic racism, but they then tack on failures in care. No, when white women die, that's a failure of care because it wasn't intentional. What happens to black women is deliberate, intentional, and was meant to cause death. That's not a failure. It's the system working exactly the way it was designed. And we know it's designed that way because of how consistent it is, and also because no one from these medical boards or the policymakers or even groups like the American College of Nurse Midwives is pushing for there to be a system put in place to keep track of these deaths so that we know which physicians are doing it and what hospitals these deaths are occurring at. You start doing that and start finding out who's the real culprits here. You start yanking people's medical licenses, start putting people in prison, and suddenly you'll find that the black maternal mortality rate would plummet overnight. Problem isn't that these medical murderers don't know what they're doing. The problem is they know exactly what they're doing. They know that everyone from the white media to these white hospital administrators to the white politicians know what they're doing and that they're going to protect them. And what kind of individuals are we talking about who show nothing but contempt for black patients?
I have a question, but I'm afraid to ask it because I don't want to be labeled as a racist. Here we go. I've been an ear doctor for 10 years now, and a significant amount of my African American patients, while I'm doing a history and physical to understand better what's going on with their problem today, they have someone on the phone. They're either just talking on the phone or they're on FaceTime, but a large percentage of my African American patients have someone that's there in the room even though they're not there in the room. Why is that? When I, myself, not speaking for an entire race or ethnicity, have a doctor come in, I hang up my phone.
A few moments later.
African American people are currently and have historically been mistreated and endangered by the American medical system. I posed a question to the internet yesterday about an observation that I had made as an emergency medicine doctor, that a disproportionate amount of my African American patients were on their cell phones during medical encounters. And I thought I knew the answer, but I asked why. And there were a lot of people that were upset that I would talk about this on social media, and they were upset that I wasn't talking directly to my patients about it to get the answer. And I 100% get that. I should absolutely be doing more in my personal practice, in my immediate environment, to help make the medical environment a safer place for black people. It was my hope that by making this video, I could reach a lot more people than I can reach in person, and address the fact that there are a lot of people who think that it's rude to be on the phone during a medical encounter, but it was my suspicion that this was rooted in very justified mistrust and fear of the medical system. To everyone that I have triggered and offended, I apologize. It is my genuine goal in life to spread positive ripples throughout the world, and it appears I have missed the mark with this.
This is a video that was posted in the last year or two. This guy here calls himself Dr. J. Mack. He has an Instagram account, and of course he's as bigoted as the day is long. Most people in the hospital, including the ER, are on their cell phones. Doesn't matter if they're black, white, or otherwise. Everybody's got a cell phone, and they're usually on it. Many of them are trying to contact their relatives and loved ones to let them know that they're in the hospital. Everybody does it. White, black, Hispanic, Asian, everyone. And yet this so-called ER doctor, he's only bothered when black patients do it. Naturally, he's too much of a liar and a racist to admit that he's the reason that these black patients feel the need to be on the phone, because no one in their right mind would be comfortable or willingly put their lives in the hands of this creep. This guy shouldn't be working in the hospitality industry, much less a hospital. And why the hell does this guy even have the ability to practice medicine? Why does he have a medical license? If he got a license, then that means that there's some sort of medical licensing board that he got it from. And these licensing boards have rules on what their license holders are allowed to do on social media. In fact, according to the Federation of State Medical Boards, what physicians do on social media can lead to them being disciplined, which ranges from a firmly worded letter to revocation of their license. Examples of this kind of behavior include things like using the internet for unprofessional behavior, making derogatory remarks regarding a patient online, and discriminatory language or practices online. Singling out black patients to make some bigoted blanket statement about, I think that qualifies. But of course, the people who are on these medical licensing boards are usually friends with, if not family members to, trash like this. And of course, they cover for each other, which is why this happens all the time. It's the same reason why whenever these white judges get caught on video, audio, and every other way being racist towards black people, the bar Bar Association and these state disciplinary boards never do anything about them either. Meanwhile, these exact same white-run regulatory boards have no problem steadily suspending or otherwise punishing black doctors, lawyers, judges, any black person who either might have done something minor that doesn't really warrant penalizing them, or in many cases, they did nothing at all. It's not that these white racist judges haven't broken the rules or even the law, it's that there's a blatant open system of white fiat and white immunity from the law in place, a system administered by other racists who protect these reprobates. This guy is a so-called doctor, and he's in a position to do incalculable, even lethal harm to black patients. And we have to wonder, has he already harmed someone or worse by now? He knew that he stepped in it when he decided to let his mouth get running, but he showed exactly who and what he is. And that's the reason why afterwards he was pretending to do that pathetic mea culpa. But nobody's going to forget who and what this creep is, but the problem is, what's going to be done about this guy now that he's exposed himself? These degenerates know this society harms black people, then blames black people for being harmed. And it rewards those who harm black people too. Either they get some sort of prize for harming black people, like money or a promotion, but just as often they're caught dead to rights and white power makes sure that they get transferred so that their dirty reputation doesn't stick to them as much, which is just as bad as giving them some sort of reward outright. It's just like with the thugs in blue. White offenders are less likely to be arrested, less likely to be charged, less likely to get a harsh sentence. I document this in my crime reports. Black defendants, on the other hand, are more likely to be charged, regardless of whether there's evidence or not. They're more likely to be prosecuted and more likely to get the harshest sentence possible. You have white offenders and black citizens, both of whom encountered the exact same cops, the exact same prosecutors, the exact same judges, and what they get charged with, or whether they get prosecuted at all, or what kind of sentence they get, is based on their skin color, not the charges against them. How can you consistently get two opposite outcomes from the exact same participants unless there's an open bias? Again, we catch these racist judges, racist cops, and racist prosecutors, but this society insists on blaming the victims for what the perpetrators do. And they use the exact same MO when it comes to killing black patients. Black patients are less likely to be diagnosed regardless of the severity of their symptoms. They're less likely to get treatment and less likely to live after dealing with this so-called healthcare system. Now, black patients see the same nurses, the same doctors, and the same surgeons as white patients do, and yet the outcomes are totally different for the exact same illnesses. It's not the illness that determines whether you receive health care or not, and it's not your condition that determines whether you receive adequate medical treatment. It's your skin color. Full stop. So whether it's law enforcement or hospitals, we see that there's a consistent, deliberate, and intentional program at work to target black people and only black people. And of course, we can't forget the white media. They make it their mission to miseducate the public and to gaslight the black community. The discriminatory and unjust treatment that black patients are constantly subjected to is always characterized by the white media as if it's in doubt, as if they're not sure that this stuff is true, even though they've got the data and they got the facts right in front of them. It's not that they don't know, it's that they know what their job is, to cover for and run interference for these apparatuses of anti-black murder. And these racist doctors and nurses, they know it too. Everybody's in on it, and everybody's aware of it. What's called for here is a political demand for a black bill of medical rights. When some politician calls themselves coming to your town, smiling in your face, this needs to be mentioned. The people who whine about how they don't think reparations is feasible, these are the same people who don't say a thing about this. The same Negroes who try to claim that, oh, that's just some unrealistic dream talk about reparations. These people have no demands of white supremacy on any other issue. That's the reason why reparations makes them nervous. They can't claim that the black infant and maternal mortality rates is an overblown figure. None of them can say, but what about white mothers who die? They can't say that. The usual lies and deflections like, that's not going to happen, doesn't wash when you talk about this subject. Reparations shows who the cowards are. And confronting politicians about America's medical apartheid exposes who the liars are. They can't play the usual games that they do with reparations, so they avoid this one altogether. This isn't a demand for money to grow. It's also not something they can claim isn't a big problem. So instead, they say nothing. Well, we don't expect any less from liars and losers. But we as the black grassroots must say something. We must make this a regular part of our political discourse. Nobody thinks that this issue is hugely important until it happens to them or one of their loved ones who's caught in the white medical trap.
Kobe
By
Bryant
then,
is
it's too
18
late.
years old.
It's time to get
the youngest player in
proactive.
the
Information is
league,
good, it's
drafted 5
crucial and
months ago.
vital, but
Not
it's not
even
enough.
starting for the Lakers yet. Averaging 7 points per game, coming off the bench, learning, watching, waiting. But he's here, at the All-Star practice facility, among legends. And right now, he's standing face to face with Michael Jordan. MJ looks at him, studies him, top to bottom, then asks, "You're the rookie, right?" Kobe nods, can't speak, can't breathe. He's standing in front of God. Jordan continues, slow, cold, certain. "You know what, kid? You're not ready. Not for this level. Not yet." Silence. Kobe freezes. The words burn into his brain, carve themselves into his memory, become fuel, become obsession, become the single most important moment of his entire career. Because Michael Jordan didn't just dismiss him, didn't just doubt him, he challenged him publicly, in front of everyone, in front of legends, in front of the world. And what Kobe does next will define everything. The summer that follows, the transformation that happens, the player he becomes, all because of 5 words. You're not ready, not yet. But here's what nobody knows, what wasn't documented, what wasn't reported. Michael Jordan said those words on purpose, not to destroy Kobe, to build him, to test him, to see if this 18-year-old kid had what it takes, had the fire, had the obsession, had the Mamba mentality before it even had a name. And that summer, Kobe proved him right, proved him wrong, proved everything in ways that would shock even Jordan himself. February 1996. Kobe Bryant gets drafted 13th overall, straight out of high school. Lower Merion, Philadelphia. First guard to go straight from high school to the NBA in 20 years. The risk is enormous. The pressure is crushing. Everyone doubts him. Everyone questions him. Too young, too skinny, too raw. Not ready for this level. Needs college, needs development, needs time. Lakers trade for him. Vlade Divac for draft rights. Jerry West believes in him, sees something special, sees the work ethic, sees the hunger, sees Michael Jordan's shadow in his eyes. But belief doesn't translate to minutes, doesn't translate to trust, doesn't translate to respect. Kobe sits on the bench, watches veterans play, watches Nick Van Exel, Eddie Jones, Cedric Ceballos, waits for his chance, gets garbage minutes, 7.6 points per game, 15 minutes per game, learning, frustrated, hungry. Then All-Star Weekend comes, February 1997, Cleveland. Kobe makes the rookie team, youngest player in All-Star history. The accomplishment means everything. The validation, the recognition, the proof that he belongs. But he doesn't belong. Not really. Not yet. Because the real stars are in the other locker room. The legends, the champions, the proven killers. And among them is Michael Jordan, 4-time champion, 4-time MVP, the greatest player alive, the standard, the target, the ghost that haunts every young guard's dreams. Practice facility. Day before the All-Star game. Players arrive for optional shoot-around. Most skip it. Not Kobe. He's there 2 hours early, shooting, working, obsessing. Then the doors open. Veterans walk in. Legends. Jordan, Penny Hardaway, Grant Hill, Gary Payton. They see this kid, this rookie, shooting alone. Some ignore him, some not. Jordan walks past, doesn't acknowledge him, doesn't look at him, just walks to the other end, starts his routine. Kobe watches, studies every movement, every shot, every detail, the footwork, the release, the intensity. This is the blueprint. This is perfection. This is what greatness looks like up close. And Kobe wants it, needs it, will do anything to achieve it. He keeps shooting, keeps working, trying to impress, trying to show Jordan he's different, that he's serious, that he's worthy. Jordan notices. Of course he notices. Sees the hunger, sees the obsession, sees himself 10 years ago. But he doesn't show it, doesn't acknowledge it, just keeps shooting, keeps working, establishing dominance without words, without competition, just presence, just excellence, just being Michael Jordan. Legends versus legends scrimmage. Kobe sits on the sideline, watching, learning. Then a coach calls him. "Bryant, you're in. Take Hill's spot." Kobe jumps up, heart racing. This is it. This is the chance. This is the moment. He runs onto the court, checks in, looks around. Jordan is on the other team, guarding position, waiting. First possession. Kobe has the ball. Top of the key. Jordan guards him immediately. Close, physical, suffocating. Kobe tries to drive. Jordan cuts him off. Tries again. Jordan stays in front. Every move anticipated, every counter blocked. Kobe passes, frustrated, embarrassed. Jordan doesn't react, doesn't talk trash, doesn't need to. The message is clear. You're not on my level. Next possession. Jordan has the ball. Kobe guards him, determined, focused, won't be embarrassed again. Jordan doesn't rush, just dribbles, calm, patient, then explodes. One move, baseline, fade away. Kobe contests perfectly, hand in face, maximum effort. Jordan makes it anyway, doesn't even look at him, just runs back on defense. The gap between them is Grand Canyon wide. This continues, 5 possessions. Kobe scores 0 points, gets scored on 3 times, gets his shot blocked once, gets stripped once. It's not close, it's not competitive. It's a lesson, a demonstration, a reality check delivered without mercy. And when the scrimmage ends, Kobe walks off the court devastated, humiliated, crushed. Locker room, after practice. Kobe sits alone, head down, processing. This is the moment Jordan approaches, sits next to him, doesn't look at him, just stares forward, silent. 5 seconds pass, 10 seconds. Then Jordan speaks. "You know what, kid?" Kobe looks up. "You're not ready. Not for this level. Not yet." The words land like punches, each one deliberate, calculated, designed to hurt, designed to test. Kobe doesn't respond, can't respond, just listens. Jordan continues. "You got talent. I see it. Everyone sees it. But talent means nothing up here. Nothing. You know what matters? Work. Obsession. Willingness to sacrifice everything. You ready for that?" Kobe nods. Still can't speak. Jordan stands up, walks toward the door, stops, turns back. "Prove it. This summer. Show me I'm wrong." And he's gone. Leaves Kobe sitting there, burning, raging, processing the challenge, the doubt, the dismissal. Most 18-year-olds would collapse, would quit, would let the words destroy them. But Kobe isn't most 18-year-olds. These words don't destroy him. They forge him, shape him, transform him into something different, something dangerous, something obsessed. Season ends. April 1997. Lakers miss the playoffs. Kobe's rookie year is over. 7.6 points, 15.5 minutes. Unremarkable. Forgettable. Just another high school kid who wasn't ready. Just another draft pick who needed time. But Kobe doesn't see it that way. Doesn't accept it. Refuses to be ordinary. Refuses to be another cautionary tale. Jordan's words echo in his mind. Every night, every morning, every moment. You're not ready.
Do you know what eating banana can do to your liver? Bananas are actually edible when they're still green, but what many people don't know is that the resistant starch in green bananas can have a significant effect on liver metabolism. Are they actually healthy? Here's what you need to know. I'm a doctor, and I quit. Years ago, I made a New Year's resolution.
He calls Jordan, somehow gets his number, probably through the Lakers staff, through connections, through sheer determination. Jordan answers, surprised. "What do you want, kid?" Kobe doesn't hesitate. "Work out with me this summer. Train me. Show me what it takes." Silence. Jordan processing, testing, deciding. Then, Chicago, June 1st. My gym, 6 a.m. Don't be late. And bring your obsession. You'll need it. June 1st, 1997. Chicago, 5:30 a.m. Kobe arrives at Jordan's private gym, 30 minutes early. Can't sleep, can't eat, can't think about anything except this moment. The doors are locked. He waits outside, sitting on the curb, visualizing, preparing, obsessing. 5:55 a.m. A car pulls up. Jordan steps out, looks at Kobe, sitting there, waiting. Nods, doesn't smile, just nods, opens the door. Inside, Jordan doesn't talk, just changes, starts shooting. Kobe follows, mimics every movement, every shot, every detail. For 30 minutes, they just shoot, silent, focused. Then Jordan stops. Let's play, one-on-one, first to 11. I'm going full speed, no mercy. You ready?
No mercy.
Kobe nods, and the education
He said full speed,
Jordan
no mercy.
destroys it. 11-2. Every move a lesson, every score a statement. Kobe can't breathe, can't keep up, can't compete. Jordan doesn't slow down, doesn't explain, just dominates. When it's over, Kobe is lying on the floor, gasping, broken. Jordan stands over him. Again, tomorrow, same time, and the day after, and the day after, until you can compete, until you're ready. Kobe nods. Can't speak, just nods. This becomes the routine. Every day, June, July, August, 6 a.m., Jordan's gym, one-on-one, full intensity, no mercy. The first week, Kobe loses every game. 11-2, 11-3, 11-1, can't score, can't stop Jordan, can't do anything except survive. But he keeps coming back, every morning, on time, ready, obsessed. Week 2, something changes. Kobe scores 6 points one game, then 7, then 8. Still losing, still getting dominated, but improving, learning, adapting. Jordan notices, doesn't acknowledge it, just increases the intensity. More physical, more aggressive.
More.
Testing Kobe's will, testing his commitment, testing if he'll quit. Kobe doesn't quit. Week 3, he scores 10 points. Game goes to 11-10. Almost wins. Almost. Jordan closes it out. No celebration, just better. Not good enough, but better. First compliment in 3 weeks. Kobe holds on to it, uses it as fuel. Comes back the next day more determined. Week 4. Everything clicks. Kobe's body adapts. His mind understands. His game elevates. He wins his first game, 11-9. Jordan doesn't react, just says, again. They play again. Kobe wins, 11-8. Jordan's intensity increases. Eyes change. This isn't practice anymore. This is war. They play a third game. Jordan wins, 11-10. Barely. And for the first time, Kobe sees it. The respect, the acknowledgement, the nod that says, you're getting there. July becomes August. The games become competitive. Some days Kobe wins, some days Jordan wins, but they're always close, always intense, always pushing each other. And during breaks, Jordan starts talking, sharing secrets, explaining the mental game. It's not about talent. Every NBA player has talent. It's about who can access that talent when it matters, when you're exhausted, when the defense is perfect, when the game is on the line. That's what separates good from great. Kobe absorbs everything. Every word, every lesson, every detail. Takes notes in his mind. Rewrites his entire approach, his entire understanding of basketball, of competition, of excellence. This isn't just training. This is a transfer of knowledge, a passing of the torch from one generation to the next, from one obsessed perfectionist to another. Late August, final session. Jordan calls Kobe the night before. Tomorrow's the last day. Make it count. Kobe doesn't sleep, can't sleep. Arrives at 5:30 a.m. again. Same routine, same preparation. Jordan arrives at 6. They don't shoot, don't warm up, just play. One final game, everything on the line. All the summer's work, all the transformation, all the growth. This is the test. The game is war, physical, intense, neither giving an inch. Kobe plays like never before. Every move from the summer, every lesson learned, every detail absorbed. He's faster, stronger, smarter, more skilled, more confident, more ready. 10-10, tied, game point, both exhausted, both determined. Jordan has the ball. Kobe guards him tight. No fear, no hesitation. Jordan drives. Kobe stays in front. Jordan spins. Kobe recovers. Jordan rises up. Fadeaway. Kobe contests perfectly. Hand and face. Maximum effort. The shot misses. Bounces off the rim. Kobe rebounds. Brings it up. Game point. His ball. Championship.
Here we go.
Jordan guards him. Same intensity, same focus. Kobe dribbles. Calm. Patient. Everything Jordan taught him. Uses his body. Creates space. Rises up. Fadeaway.
Money.
Just like Jordan. Same shot, same form, same confidence. Jordan contests. Perfect defense. The shot is difficult, impossible, absurd. Kobe makes it. 11-10. Game over. Silence. Neither moves. Both just stand there, processing. Jordan walks to Kobe, extends his hand. Kobe shakes it, firm, respectful. Jordan pulls him in, close, whispers, "You're ready now. Don't ever let anyone tell you different. Not me, not anyone. You put in the work. You earned this. Now go prove it to the world." Kobe nods, can't speak, emotions overwhelming. This summer changed everything. Changed his body, his skills, his mind, his approach, his entire understanding of what it takes. Jordan walks toward the exit, stops, turns back. One more thing. That obsession, that darkness, that need to prove everyone wrong, don't lose it. Feed it. Let it consume you. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you dangerous. And he's gone. Season starts. October 1997. Kobe's second year. Something is different. Everyone notices. Coaches.
Make it a habit. 7 minutes of Tai Chi every morning all the way for 1 month. This Monday we will start the advanced Tai Chi workout for beginner men aged from 40 to 60.
Even I noticed it.
Just 7 minutes a day to reset your body and mind. Week 1, you'll feel the difference. Week 2, you'll see the change. Week 3, you'll move like never before. Tap the screen to restart your journey.
Because I'm sick. I'm a sick individual. I'm a sick perfect cow.
Quickest way to shrink your prostate.
The best way to fix prostate problems? Saw palmetto? Nope. What about Flomax? Nope. Antibiotics?
Right.
Nope. Here's what actually works. I'm going to show you the hidden reason you keep getting up at night to pee and why nothing has worked so far. Look closely at this model of your prostate. Your prostate sits under your bladder and it wraps completely around your urethra, the tube where your pee comes out. Think of your prostate like a C-clamp squeezing a garden hose. This part stores your urine. It's the bladder, and this tube running through is your urethra. Pee travels out through here. Now watch this. When your prostate is healthy, the C-clamp is loose around your urethra. You get easy, full flow. But when your prostate gets swollen, the C-clamp tightens around your urethra, choking off your stream. That's why you're standing there waiting for your stream to start, still dripping after you zip up, getting up 5, 6, even 7 times a night, feeling like you never fully empty your bladder. And here's the scary part. Every night, that C-clamp gets tighter and tighter, like someone keeps cracking it down another notch. And if you ignore this, it only gets worse. Some guys end up wetting themselves, can't make it to the bathroom in time. Others end up needing risky surgery that can leave you with a broken morning suit and leaking urine. Now, here's what doctors don't tell you. According to research from Harvard, the real reason your prostate swells, making your C-clamp squeeze down on your pee flow, comes down to bad bacteria taking over. See, your prostate is supposed to have good bacteria.
Say goodbye,
Owen. Keep that C-clamp loose. But when bad bacteria take over, often after taking antibiotics or even just getting older, your prostate puffs up like a balloon. The more swollen it gets, the tighter that clamp squeezes. That's why you keep waking up at night, dribbling in your underwear, and feeling like you never fully empty your bladder. Once the good bacteria are wiped out, yeast and harmful bacteria move right in, making your prostate swell even more. Meanwhile, doctors keep prescribing pills like Flomax and DHT blockers. Sure, Flomax relaxes muscles so you pee easier for a few hours, but it doesn't stop the swelling, so your prostate C-clamp stays tight. DHT blockers might shrink the prostate over months, but they'll crush your testosterone and kill your sex drive, which means you'll keep coming back for more pills without ever loosening that C-clamp. Look, I get it. As a doctor, I've seen this cycle destroy men's lives. Hell, that's exactly what happened to my own uncle. Poor man had 6 bathroom trips every night. Doctors pushing risky surgery. As a board-certified surgeon who's worked with the Boston Celtics and Harvard Athletics, I knew there had to be a better...
Players, media. He's faster, stronger, more confident, more aggressive. Del Harris starts giving him more minutes, 26 per game. Points jump to 15.4. He's attacking, finishing, competing. The transformation is visible, undeniable. Everyone wonders what happened, what changed. Kobe doesn't tell them, doesn't share the secret, just keeps working, keeps improving, keeps proving. December 1997, Lakers versus Bulls, Chicago, United Center. Kobe's first game against Jordan as a real competitor, not a rookie, not a kid, a threat. The game is intense, physical, competitive. Kobe guards Jordan. Jordan guards Kobe. Back and forth, neither backing down. Kobe scores 33 points.
Yep, he scored 30 points. Hey, Kylie. Good morning. God bless you, baby girl.
Jordan finds Kobe, nods, says one word. Ready.
Hey, Amber. What's going on? Hey, baby girl. Good morning, y'all.
Not completely, not yet, but the process has begun. Jordan sees his successor, sees the obsession, sees the hunger, sees himself. And Kobe sees his blueprint, his standard, his target, everything he needs to become. The summer connection remains private, secret, sacred. Nobody knows about those morning sessions, those one-on-one battles, those lessons, that transformation, until years later, after both retire, after legacies are secured, after everything is proven. 2016, Kobe's final season, retirement tour, interview with ESPN. Reporter asks, when did you know you could be great? When did it click? Kobe pauses, thinks, decides to share. Summer of 1997, I trained with Mike. Every day, 2 months. He destroyed me, then taught me, then respected me. That summer changed everything, made me understand what greatness requires, what it costs, what it demands. Mike didn't tell me I could be great. He showed me by making me work for it, by testing me, by not giving me anything. That's the gift. That's what I needed. The revelation shocks everyone. Jordan trained Kobe, the 2 greatest shooting guards ever, the alpha and his successor. The stories spread, details emerge. Players who knew talk, confirm it. Yes, that summer happened. Yes, Jordan tested him. Yes, Kobe passed. Yes, everything changed. The connection explains so much. The mentality, the approach, the obsession. The Mamba mentality came from somewhere. It came from that summer, from those mornings, from Jordan's challenge, from you're not ready, not yet. February 1997, All-Star Weekend. Jordan tells 18-year-old Kobe, you're not ready. Most would crumble. Most would quit. Most would let those words define them as failure. Kobe let them define him as challenged, as motivated, as you don't need a second job. You just need to learn how to talk to AI.
So this is how I became the most dangerous person in the room.
What did he just say?
He called Jordan.
Gotta go somewhere with that, bro.
Learned from Jordan.
I'm talking to no man. You gotta go somewhere.
Not by copying, by understanding, by absorbing the essence, the work ethic, the competitiveness, the refusal to accept anything less than greatness. That summer wasn't about basketball skills. It was about mindset. about understanding that greatness isn't given, it's earned, it's suffered for, it's obsessed over,
Oh, yeah.
it's sacrificed for. Jordan gave Kobe the roadmap, the blueprint, the truth, and Kobe followed it religiously, every day, every year, every moment, until he became what Jordan predicted, what Jordan challenged him to become: ready, worthy, great. An 18-year-old standing in front of his idol, hearing 5 devastating words: "You're not ready, not yet." That moment could have ended a career, could have crushed a spirit, could have created a cautionary tale. Instead, it created a legend.
Instead, it created a
Kobe
monster.
Bryant didn't hear doubt, he heard challenge. He didn't hear dismissal, he heard opportunity. He didn't hear the end, he heard the beginning. That summer in Chicago, 6 a.m. workouts, one-on-one battles, Jordan teaching, Kobe learning, both pushing, both obsessing, both understanding that greatness recognizes greatness and respects the journey. Jordan tested Kobe. Kobe passed. The torch didn't transfer that summer, but the foundation was built. The mentality was forged. The Mamba was born. Years later, 5 championships, 2 finals MVPs, 81 points, 60-point finale, all-time great, legend, icon, Kobe Bryant. And when asked how it started, the answer is simple. Michael Jordan told him he wasn't ready. So Kobe spent a summer proving it wrong, proving it right, proving everything. Not with words, with work, with obsession, with Mamba mentality. The mentality born from 5 words: "You're not ready, not yet." The 5 words that changed everything.
1 in 4 taxpayers was a victim of identity theft. Like me. That's 1 in 4 hardworking, honest Americans.
All right, guys. We will see you here in the afternoon. All right, guys. Have a good day, and I'll see you later. Love you guys. Peace.
We're not paying anymore.
With up to $3 million in coverage, LifeLock fixes identity theft guarantee.
Bye, Kylie. Love you, baby girl. Peace.